Hello guys, this is Wunderbit Trading and we're carrying on with our weekly Bitcoin and Ethereum price analysis. The weekends were just amazing, actually started slightly before the weekends on Friday evening in Riga time. And the most important thing that we need to consider right now is whether we actually see a bull market in Bitcoin or this was a fake pump. So let's go straight into our charts, and you can see there are a couple of here which I prepared today. We'll start from the left top, and this is the CME futures. And based on the idea that they're not trading during the weekends, we can clearly see this gap which has been formed on a daily. We'll see how this day today will be closing. We can either fill this gap straight away, but there are not many evidence for that in particular, or we can consolidate here for a while and then close this gap. So this gap is something to take into the account in any way. So I'll put it like this for now. Let's go to the 4-hour chart quickly on the CME futures. Yeah, we can see that this gap was at around 9,500 and it started from 8,800. So this gap should be filled at some point, and we need to consider that for sure. So going back to our chart, the right one is the BTC dominance. So we can see that there was a spike in the BTC dominance, which means that the Bitcoin was performing much better than most of the altcoins. I'm not taking now into the account, or Tron, for example. So there were a couple of altcoins which were doing a great job and outperformed Bitcoin. However, if we look at that picture in particular, you can see that most of the altcoins were pumping less in comparison to Bitcoin. Now, the most important thing is about the charts. Let's go to the bottom left one, and this is the Bitstamp daily chart. What I wanted to show you here is that this was our analysis a long time ago on the 25th of September, and those of you who are actually subscribed to our Telegram channel can see this. So this was on the September 25th when we were actually labeling this area, this zone, and was saying that in this area of around 7,400, 7,800, we can find the local minimum, and then it will pump slightly up, and this was exactly the point which we can see on the graph. So we touched it and we skyrocketed, to be honest. The potential growth here is actually limited to the couple of factors. Well, first is the idea that we saw a dev cross. The 50 MA is crossing down the 200 MA, and this can be counted as a recheck from that triangle. So we broke down out of the triangle, and then we rechecked this triangle, and this is the current point at which we are, and this is quite a vital point as well. So let's look at the last chart, which is our Binance chart. This is the exchange where we're actually trading, and why I'm saying that we might see a resistance, because this is a downward channel, and we went from the sort of middle-ish part of it to the upper part of it, with a very good volume over here and a very good spike especially. So everything which went above the mark of 9,500 was bought back immediately. So this is one very crucial thing. You can clearly see that we are rechecking this triangle, so we might expect a further move down, and this is actually quite important to bear in mind. And why we were predicting that this area will be a local bottom is also because there is a 0.618 level of Fibonacci of the overall upward movement from the bottom to the top. So in this case, we can conclude that there is a potential for the Bitcoin to actually come down and carry on the downward movement. So I wouldn't say that we are currently in the new bull market or we're carrying on the upward movement. We still can be in a retracement, and this retracement can go even further than 7,500. I know that the news are quite bullish all over the place. You can see it on YouTube, on different news and stuff like that. And most discussable news is that the China is actually up for the development of blockchain. And this is a crucial thing. They're up for development of blockchain, but not in support of Bitcoin. We saw several times how China is harsh on their regulations with the exchanges. And for us, in terms of the trading, as a trading instrument, this is actually more of the negative news rather than positive. So be very careful in terms of interpreting the news overall, and especially this one with China. Let's check one more thing, is the volume. So the volume is actually quite good. It was exactly the same with the spikes when we were first creating the new high in June, and we had roughly similar volume over here. So again, there are a couple of things in favor of this particular bull run, but there are also factors which actually contributes to the idea that we're still in a downward trend, in a retracement, let's put it this way, and we may not be out of it in the nearest future. Okay, let's switch to another chart right now. Let's look at Ethereum. Talking about Ethereum on the daily chart, well, we can see here as well the quite indecisive move. The Ethereum didn't jump that high. We can potentially discuss that there is a double bottom here, so something like this, and we're stuck with the middle of that. If we're breaking that level of $195–93, then there is an opportunity for us to go up. However, make sure that you see that there is a 200 moving average resistance. We're currently stuck at 100 moving average resistance. Not much is happening in terms of the RSI. We're around the middle. So Ethereum doesn't look that strong. Ethereum didn't experience that pump, and that's a crucial thing for Ethereum in particular. What we saw was quite good is actually Tron. Tron was doing a nice move and formed the high low and another one high, so we might potentially see that it's in an upward channel. So let's put it like this for now. Yes, it looks like we're in the upper part of the channel. There is a strong resistance here. Then the 200 moving average will come down shortly within the next week or so, and we might see the move downwards towards the middle of the channel. Plus there is a support area of 0.018 cents. And this is quite a good news. We can see a high on RSI, we can see a good volume. So actually Tron looks better than Ethereum, for example. Let's look at Cardano. Cardano is still in a downward channel, and this is something we can definitely see from that move. So starting from the highest point, we broke slightly above it. However, the current candle on a daily, if it closes like this, will mean that we are going back to the channel. So yeah, even though the news were positive, the Bitcoin pumped straight away in the last 3 days for about 20%. Don't be that enthusiastic. Read the graphs very carefully, think very carefully about your positions, and make sure you understand how to interpret the fundamentals of your trading. Okay, thank you very much guys for watching. That was Wonderbit Trading. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, stay tuned with our Telegram channel for the daily reviews, and best of luck with your trading.